Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with lesson 8 of Moments. A house is not a home. The story House is Not a Home reflects the challenges of being a teenager and the problems of growing up. In our life, sometimes such changes takes place that our life becomes intolerable for us, and sometimes we want to end this life. But again, we find that things change which makes us enjoy the life fully. In this story also the same things happen with the narrator. He finds himself in a awkward situation when he joins a high school, and after some days his house catches fire and he finds that his life has ended. But when his schoolmates show their concern for him, his whole vision for the life changes and he again starts taking interest in life. So let us start the lesson. My first year of high school felt awkward. After leaving junior high at the head of my school, with all the seniority the upper grade levels could afford me, it felt strange starting over as a freshman. The school was twice as big as my old school, and to make matters worse, my closest friends were sent to a different high school. I felt very isolated. My first year of high school felt awkward means that it was narrator's first year at the high school and he was feeling very strange. He was feeling very isolated also. In the junior school, he had been the head of his class, he had been the monitor of his class, and he has enjoyed all the privileges that were given to a senior. So he was very happy there. It felt strange starting over as a freshman, and now he has to start as a fresher it was his first year of his high school, so he was feeling very strange. The school was very big, and to make matters worse, all his close friends they were sent to different schools. There was no friends of his no friends were there in this school, so he felt very isolated. I missed my old teachers so much that I would go back and visit them and then would encourage me to get involved in school activities so that I could meet new people. They told me that in time I would adjust and probably end up loving my new school more than I had my old one. They made me promise that when that happened, I would still come by and visit them from time to time. I understood the psychology in what they were saying, but I took some comfort in it nonetheless. I missed my old teachers. The narrator, he loved his old school and old teachers very much, so he used to miss them, and he would go back to them. He would visit them, and they always encourage him to get involved in school activities so that he can meet new people, so that he can enjoy their company and get adjusted there. And the teachers they always encourage him that he would soon adjust there and he would love his new school as much as even more than his this old one. And they also made him to promise that when this would happen, when he would love his this new school more than his old school, then also he would come there, he would visit them, and he would meet them time to time. So all these words they provide some comfort to him. One Sunday afternoon, long after I had started high school, I was sitting at home at our dining room table doing homework. It was a cold and windy fall day, and we had a fire going in our fireplace. As usual, my red tabby cat was lying on the top of all my papers, purring loudly and occasionally sweating at my pen for entertainment's sake. So it was Sunday afternoon, and it was not very long after he had started his high school. He was just you can say started adjusting there, and he was doing his homework sitting on his dining table, as it was very cold and windy day, and there was a fire in their fireplace, and his red tabby cat, he was having a pet cat. It was also, you can say, just jumping on his papers and making small sounds and hitting his pen and other things just for the amusement. She was never far from me. I had rescued her when she was a kitten, and somehow she knew that I was the one responsible for giving her the good life. Now, this cat, she was very much attached to the narrator. She was very much near to him, and he remembered that when she was a kitten, when she was a small pet, he rescued her from some danger, and from that time, she started feeling that he was responsible for giving her a very good life. So she was also very attached to her. My mother kept stoking the fire to keep the house nice and warm. Suddenly, I smelled something strange, and then I noticed it, a smoke pouring in through the seams of the ceiling. The smoke began to fill the room so quickly that we could barely see. Now, the mother, she was feeding and tending the fire. She was just putting some more fires and changing their direction, etc., to keep the house nice and warm and without smoke. Suddenly, there was a strange smell in the room, and the narrator noticed that there was smoke that is pouring in through the seams of the ceiling. Ceiling means roof, and the smoke began to fill the room so quickly that they could barely see. Means there was all over smoke and smoke there, and they couldn't see anything. Grouping our way, Grouping our way to the front door, we all ran out into the front yard. By the time we made our way outside, the whole roof was engulfed in flames, and it was spreading quickly. I ran to the neighbors to call the fire department while I watched my mother run back into the house. Now they went out of the house, and they reached the front yard, and as soon as they reached there, they saw the whole roof was surrounded, engulfed in flames means surrounded in flames, and the fire was spreading very quickly. So the narrator, he rushed to the neighbor's house to call the fire department, while the mother, she ran back to the house. She wanted to save some important documents. My mother then ran out of the house carrying a small metal box full of important documents. She dropped the case on the lawn, and in a crazed state, she ran back into the house. I knew what she ran after. My father had died when I was young, and I was certain that she was not going to let his pictures and letters go into the flame. They were the only things that she had to remember him by. Still, I screamed at her, "Mom, no." So he saw mother. She ran out of the house carrying a small metal box in which some important documents were there, and hurriedly she dropped that box into the lawn, and in a crazy state she ran back to the house. Now the narrator, he knew that she wanted to save some memories of his father, as his father has died when the narrator was very young, and the mother, she was having some pictures and some letters of his father, and she wanted to save them, and as these were the only things as his memories, and they want to save them. But still he screamed, "Mom, no, that you should not go there, as there was a danger inside the house." I was about to run after her when I felt a large hand hold me back. It was a fireman. I hadn't even noticed that the street had already filled with fire trucks. I was trying to free myself his grasp, yelling, "You don't understand. My mother is in there." Now the narrator, he, in order to save save his mother, he was running after him, but a fireman as there were fire trucks that they reached there to extinguish the fire, and a fireman stopped him, and the narrator, he was yelling, he was crying, and he wanted him to free himself because he wanted to save his mother. He held on to me while other firefighters ran into the house. He knew that I was not acting very logically, and if he were to let go, I would run, and he was right. Now that person, he didn't let him go, while other firefighters, they ran into the house, and because they knew that he was not acting very logically, and if they let him go, he would rush into the house and put himself into the danger. It was all right, they will get her back, he said. He consoled him that nothing will happen, she will be all right, and the firemen, they had entered the house, they will get her out. He wrapped a blanket around me and sat me down in our car. Soon after that, a fireman emerged from a house with my mother in tow. He quickly took quickly took her over to the truck and put an oxygen mask on her. I ran over and hugged her. All those time I even argued with her and hated her vanished at the thought of losing her. Now the fireman, he wrapped a blanket around him and make him sit in the car, and then a fireman came out of the house with his mother in tow. Tow means behind. The mother was also behind him, and they quickly took her into the truck where they had put an oxygen mask on her. And the narrator, he was very much worried. He ran over to her mother, he hugged her and started crying, and he said, even at times I used to argue with my mother, and I hated her also sometimes, but all these thoughts, they had vanished at the thought of losing her. Now he was very much worried, he just wanted to his mother's life. She is going to be okay, said the fireman. She just inhaled a little smoke, and then he ran back to fight the fire while my mother and I sat there dazed. I remember watching my house burn down and thinking that there was nothing I could do about it. Now the fireman consoled him that she is going to be okay. She has just inhaled, she has just taken a little smoke, and she would be fine after some time. And then he ran back to fight the fire in the house, and while the mother and the narrator, they kept sitting there, and they remembered that they were just watching their house getting burnt, but they couldn't do anything. 5 hours later, the fire was finally out. Our house was almost completely burned down, but then it struck me I hadn't seen my cat. Where was my cat? Much to my horror, I realized that she was nowhere to be found. Then all at once it hit me, the new school, the fire, my cat. I broke down in tears and cried and cried. I was suffering a loss big time. Now it took 5 hours to control the fire. The house was almost completely burned, and then a thought came to his mind that he hadn't seen his cat. Now he started finding where is his cat, and much to his horror, he realized that she was nowhere to be found. And now the depressing thoughts, they started coming to his mind, that the school was new, then the fire struck the house, now the cat is missing. Now he started crying. He said that it is a very bad time for him. He was suffering losses after losses. The fireman wouldn't let us go back into the house that night. It was still too dangerous, dead or alive. I couldn't imagine leaving without knowing about my cat. Regardless, I had to go. We piled into the car with just the clothes on our backs and a few of the fireman's blankets and made our way to my grandparents' house to spend the night. Now the firemen, they were not allowing him to go into the house that night as it was very dangerous, but he wanted to know about his cat, whether she was dead or whether she was alive, but he was not allowed to go there So he had to leave that place. They were piled into the car with the clothes they were just wearing. They were having nothing with them, and they were having a few blankets that were given by a fireman, and they were sent to their grandparents' house to spend the night. The next day, Monday, I went to school when the fire broke out. I was still wearing the dress I had worn to church that morning, but I had no shoes. I had kicked them off when I was doing homework, and they became yet another casualty of fire, so I had to borrow some tennis shoes from my aunt. Why couldn't I just stay home from school? My mother wouldn't hear of it, but I was totally embarrassed by everything. The clothes I was wearing looked weird. I had no books or homework. My backpack was gone. I had my life in that backpack. The more I tried to fit in, the worse it got. Was I destined to be an outcast and geek all my life? That is what it felt like. I didn't want to grow up, change, or have to handle life. If it was going to be this way, I just wanted to curl up and die. Now he was so depressed. He was telling his thoughts about his thoughts also. He was expressing his thoughts. And the next day, it was Monday, because it was Sunday when the house caught fire. It was Monday next day, and he had to go to school. And now he was not having any school uniform. He was just wearing his church clothes that he was wearing on that morning, but he is not having any shoes, as he had just kicked them off. He had just kicked his shoes while he was doing his homework, and they were also, you can say, got burnt in the fire. Now he had to borrow some tennis shoes from his aunt, and he just doesn't want to go to school, but his mother would not hear of it, and he she sent her to she sent him to school. Now he was feeling embarrassed about each and everything. He was feeling embarrassed by his clothes that he was wearing. He was not having any shoes. He was not having any books. He was not having his backpack, or he has not done his homework, and he doesn't want to go to school without all these things. He said, was I destined to be an outcast? Outcast means rejected, means he was feeling rejected and foolish. He said, if this is the meaning of growing up, I don't want to grow. He was very much depressed. He just wanted to end up his life. He said, I just wanted to summarize, I just wanted to end my life. So he was very much depressed. I walked around school like a zombie. Everything felt surreal, and I was not sure what was going to happen. All the security I had known from my old school, my friends, my house, my cat, had been ripped away. Zombie means like a foolish person. So as he was very much embarrassed, he was very much depressed, he was moving around the school like a zombie. And everything felt surreal means strange. He was feeling very strange, and he was not sure that what was going to happen next. He thought that everything is going bad with him. He has lost his old school. Now he has lost his house. He has lost his cat. Now he was feeling very insecure about it. So the security that he has achieved from his school, his friends, his house, his cat, all these things have been ripped away. Ripped away means split away. So he was feeling very embarrassed and very depressed at that time. So next part of the story we'll do in our next class. Thank you.